Harry's wife. Will she ever accept defeat? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This was a further question posed by my viewership, wondering whether Harry's wife will ever accept that she's lost. Of course, in order to answer that, we need to determine what is meant by defeat, what is meant by lost. Well, within the context of a narcissist, this of course can mean many things. Might it be the loss of a relationship of an intimate nature, the loss of friendships, ostracization from colleagues, attendance in certain societies and clubs, basically being blackballed? Might it be loss of employment, loss of income, loss of a home? Might it be instances of ridicule, where the individual is lampooned wherever they go, almost going down the lines of what Jeremy Clarkson was talking about, having Harry's wife paraded naked whilst people fling poo at her, akin to what happened to Cersei in Game of Thrones. And should any of those things happen, would Harry's wife accept, I've lost, I'm defeated? When it comes to the issue of defeat, it will come as no surprise to you, or not to, that the narcissism will not allow the narcissist to see that they are defeated in any permanent way. In some instances, it won't allow the narcissist to see that they're defeated at all. In other instances, it will allow the narcissist to see that they've been defeated, but it doesn't matter, because the defeat wasn't legitimate. The defeat wasn't lawful. My opponent cheated. I wasn't well. This person took advantage of me, and I will bounce back. You see, the advantage for the narcissist is that there are always going to be fresh pastures to move to. So if the narcissist's intimate partner primary source escapes, and thus that would be deemed a defeat, they've lost that person, then the narcissism just compels the narcissist to go and find somebody new, or possibly even try and hoover the recently escaped intimate partner primary source back into the relationship, which often happens. And thus defeat becomes victory. The narcissist loses the job, go and get another one. The narcissist's form of income has taken a nosedive, borrow money from someone, steal money from someone, find another source of income. The narcissist loses the house, go and get another one. That might be by hunting down a new intimate partner and pouncing off them, or sofa surfing, or utilizing resources to rent elsewhere or buy elsewhere. Wherever the narcissist might lose out, the narcissist jumps back up again. Yes, they might complain about the way that they've been treated. Their resurrection may not always be particularly effective, but invariably the narcissism drives the narcissist to try again. The relationship that they form might, objectively, not be as good as the one that they'd lost, but in the mind of the narcissist that is irrelevant. The narcissism will tell them that there is no downgrade, that this person is far superior to the person who escaped. Why? Because that person is viewed through the lens of white, and the other person is viewed as black. So whilst many people would say, well, your ex-wife was beautiful, intelligent, held down a good job, was a great mother, brilliant in the kitchen, ran the home brilliantly, has a range of interesting hobbies and interests, whereas the person that you're with is an affront to the eye, has a particularly crap job, doesn't earn a lot of money, has no conversational skills, sure, isn't too bad around the home, but on balance, your ex-wife is far superior by any reckoning. The narcissist would not have it, because the narcissist will not allow it to be. The ex-wife was vain. The ex-wife was too caught up in her career. The ex-wife lauded it over in terms of her earnings. The ex-wife never had time for me. The ex-wife thought she was all that and spent all of her time preening herself and telling everybody about how wonderful she was. The person I'm with now, she might not earn as much, but that doesn't matter to me because we're able to spend more time together. She might not be as fantastically good looking, but she's better in bed. She's a warmer person. She's a kinder person. The narcissist finds victory and does not see defeat. Where the narcissist is dismissed from their employment, they will bellyache about it, perhaps bring litigation to seek recovery of damages, and go and seek a job elsewhere, perhaps leaning on people by way of favour and ignoring the fact that they've been sacked, lying about that fact as they go and find a job elsewhere. This is why many narcissists actually become very successful in life, because their narcissism compels them to, each time that they're knocked off their high horse, to dust themselves down and carry on. That they have no shame in keep plugging away at something even though it's failed several times before. That they're not embarrassed by repeatedly going back and asking somebody to assist or invest or to loan money. That they have no recognition of barriers, so they're not held back in saying to people, you need to be involved in this, you need to help me with this, I need to borrow this from you, I need this input from you, give me some free advice, etc. Those who are more conscious of their behaviours and feel embarrassed and a little bit ashamed of what they might be doing, perhaps feeling cheeky with regard to trying to gain that assistance, are less likely to be as thrusting. That doesn't mean, of course, that the thrusting narcissist is always going to succeed, but it does increase the chances of doing so, because they're quite prepared to sharpen their elbows and get amongst it, and even when they're knocked down, they get up again. And that happens with regard to relationships, jobs, income, housing, cars, friends, jobs, and so on and so forth. How many times have you seen the narcissist come up smelling of roses? The fact is that bounce back ability that the narcissist has means that they continue to forge forward. Defeat is not an option, because in some instances defeat is not even recognised, and where it is, the narcissist will not accept it. They've been cheated, they've been done to, they were at a disadvantage, and the narcissist will compel them to fight back in some way in order to assert control and nullify those threats to control, in order to draw fuel, in order to commandeer those character traits and, of course, the residual benefits, by starting over again, returning to someone who has been withdrawn into the fuel matrix in the past. And it is the same with Harry's wife. Even as people turn their backs to her, even as perhaps she might not earn as much money as she once did, as she faces repeated condemnation across mainstream media and social media, that the opportunities start to dry up, that she's cast out of the royal family, perhaps having the title stripped from her, she will not see them as defeats. She will keep going, plugging away in that eternal pursuit of the prime aims, because her narcissism cannot allow her to see defeat. In some instances, this actually can be a good thing for a person because it causes them to keep going. In other instances, it leads to them believing that they're succeeding, but the whole world is turning around and laughing at them. And that latter outcome is a potential risk for Harry's wife. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.